Welcome to another episode of Listen to Us Rant About Movies. I'm Wes Ford.
And I'm Zach Harris.
We rant about movies and drink while we do it. For this episode, we'll be discussing the latest films and shows we've been watching, followed by a review of Avengers: Infinity War. Tonight we are drinking Brooklyn Defender IPA from New York.
Oh yeah.
And it's perfect because we had to get it. There's a guy in a superhero costume who literally is basically an Avenger. They call it Defender.
Yeah.
And we had to get it. Comic book inspired.
It's nice, yeah. The perfect pairing.
Let's give it a little sip.
Yeah.
The inaugural sip.
Yeah. It's good.
It's good. It's a good IPA.
Tastes like beer to me, dude.
Dad. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/LTURAM. You can choose from 180,000 titles from your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. And if you like what you hear on this episode, remember you can find other episodes of our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, and YouTube. Let's get to our watch lists. Zach, what have you been watching lately?
Just the other night, I watched, The Devil and Father Amort, the new Friedkin documentary. Have you seen the trailer for this?
No, I haven't.
So it's basically William Friedkin made a documentary where he films, like, a real exorcism.
What?
Yeah, and I was, like, so jazzed for this thing.
It sounds amazing, yeah.
So pumped. And boy, was I disappointed. It's such a disappointment. It is a huge bummer. Like, the best parts of the movie are William Friedkin, like, introducing things.
Yeah.
Like him, like, talking to the camera, walking through a church, being like, I directed The Exorcist, and 42 years later, I'll see a real exorcism. Like, looking into the camera, like...
Right.
Which is pretty fantastic to watch, but yeah, the rest of it is pretty phony, honestly, feeling, and pretty, like, uninteresting. Just like people being like, him interviewing, like, these people, and they're like, I don't know, maybe it's real, you know, it's okay. And then they show the exorcism, and it's probably like 15 minutes long, and it just doesn't really, there's, like, no intensity to it. And they seemingly, like, do this, like, post-distortion on the voice when the person's,
really?
like, screaming. And so it's like, "Brrr!" It's, like, doubled, like, layered voices that, like, sounds very fake.
Bummer.
And it's, like, this raw video of him, like, single camera filming in a room, you know? So it's kind of like, I don't know. There's this whole thing at the end where he has another encounter with them, and he's like, I went into the church. I didn't bring my camera. And she was rolling around on the ground, and we were so scared, and, like, tells the story. It's like, but you just, like, didn't bring it in?
Yeah.
Like,
why didn't you run out and get it immediately?
Yeah, he's going to meet her, the subject of the exorcism.
Right.
And he just says, I didn't bring it in. Like, what? You know, like...
You're filming a documentary.
Yeah, I don't know. Pretty
phony.
Pretty disappointing. But if someone out there made a supercut of all of William Friedkin on camera talking, 5 out of 5. Like, the thing's 20 minutes long, and it's just a bunch of shots of William Friedkin. I'm fucking in.
That part's incredible.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, well, that sucks. It sounds really interesting, premise-wise, but it sucks it didn't really play out.
I was pretty pumped, and it was biggest disappointment in a while, I would say.
Oh, man. That's a bummer.
Yeah.
I checked out You Were Never Really Here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Saw that as well.
Yeah, you talked about it a little bit last time.
Oh, yeah, in the last one.
But, yeah, so I went and checked it out in the theaters. It just started playing Friday, so I went there same day and checked it out. And Overall, I really like the movie. I do. I think the first half is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And then near the end, it sort of loses itself a little bit. I feel like it kind of gets lost in its own kind of dreamlike qualities. It sort of gets a little unfocused, and
I think part of that though is mirroring the character, since it's very like character based. You know what I mean? Kind of like mirroring his experience.
Yeah, for sure. It's very like non-linear too, the way the story plays out, and nothing's ever clear. Like nothing's ever clarified exactly. Like, you see hints of his past, but you're never like told exactly like what he experienced. You know. All that being said, though, it was incredibly shot. Like it was amazingly shot. And Joaquin Phoenix's performance was outstanding. I thought he was fantastic in it. Yeah, it was just great to see him kind of like revel in this character, like this miserable kind of almost taxi driver type character.
For sure.
And I really liked the direction by Lynn Ramsey. She really, I feel like she has like a really unique voice, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
And I'd like to see what she continues to do from here. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's definitely pretty brutal at times, which I enjoyed that aspect of it. And yeah, it was a good indie film, worth checking out. I really liked it.
And I do think there was something to the way that they depicted the violence, because it is very brutal. But there was something about the way that it was like framed in the context of it that felt better than a lot of other things that could be doing the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
It felt pretty rooted, and like there was like consequence to it, and it wasn't, you know.
Yeah, agreed. But there's moments that felt at the same time a little unrealistic. I don't want to spoil anything, but near the end where he's clearly breaking down, but like the way some certain things play out, just really long takes on things I feel like didn't need to be there. It just started to like kind of trudge along near the end, which I'm glad that the total runtime was only an hour and a half.
Yeah,
it felt longer.
Good. It's nice and tight. Yeah,
but it's nice that it's great when you can have just like a nice hour and a half movie. You know,
it's the best. Slow paced short movies.
Yeah,
just beautiful.
And there's definitely all that for this movie. So.
And that score though, too,
dude, great score.
Holy
Johnny
shit,
Greenwood,
that score.
Incredible. Killed it again. Yeah, the score was great, and the title card was amazing. Loved it. Big fan of the title card.
Yeah, man.
And just like the use of the music during that portion, in the very beginning of like, it was driving the film as like a score, but it was also kind of playing in the car.
Yeah.
It's
pretty cool.
Very interesting style to the whole movie.
Definitely.
And I realized I was watching it too. It took probably like 10-15 minutes before you got a sense of like a wide shot or like a establishing shot. There's no establishing shot whatsoever within like the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, totally.
And most of the
movie, it's very focused on him.
Most of the movies like that. There's only a couple wide shots. I wish there were a couple more, just because it was almost disorienting a little bit, just to like, what am I looking at? You know?
Yeah.
No establishing shot, but I don't know. It was overall really, really well done. Yeah, really worth checking out in the theater too.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Yeah. So that's You Were Never Really Here. It's out now. Go check it out. It's pretty good.
Hell yeah.
What else you got?
I watched Kiki's Delivery Service, the Miyazaki movie.
Yeah, the new one, right?
No, it's an older one.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's one. I don't think it's like super early, but maybe like mid 80s, late 80s, 89. Yeah, just a fucking delight, man.
They always are.
Every time every time I watch one of his movies, I'm just like, all right, well, I guess I need to see more because every one of them that I've seen is really good. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know
so
why I
enjoyable.
haven't seen these yet. Like,
They're always enjoyable.
totally.
Yeah.
And this one airs more on the side of like a kids movie. I mean, they all kind of are, but there's some that are more like fantasy. Like I just watched Nausicaa, and that one's a little more like sci-fi fantasy, or like Princess Mononoke. It's a little more like serious sort of thing. But
yeah.
So it's definitely. Do you know like the plot of it?
No,
Kiki?
not really.
It's like a little girl who's a witch, and in this society, like when you're 13, witches go out for a year to like learn how to live in the real world, and then like come back. So it's her like going out into the world to live as a witch, and she just like meets this friendly baker woman who like gives her a place to stay and like helps her start this delivery service where she like delivers packages on her broomstick.
Nice.
It's just so nice. Just a delightful movie.
Yeah.
Had a big grin on my face the whole time. It's a lot of fun.
Nice. I recently watched one of his other movies for the first time. I watched Spirited Away.
Oh, nice. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I really liked it. It was really good. Really
Yeah, it's
good,
amazing.
like, kids movie, you know?
Mm-hmm.
All his movies, for my future children, I'd love to show them those, you know?
Yeah,
'Cause
definitely.
They're just, like, fun adventure stories that have, like, a lot of imagination and just really great animation, too.
Oh, incredible animation.
Incredible. And
they're usually also like pretty at least his earlier ones, they're like very like concise.
yeah.
Like concise and to the point, but without like abandoning like character and stuff like that,
Yeah.
which is really nice.
And because they're so rooted in, I guess, Japanese culture, and grew up, Western civilization. I'm westernized. It's really unique to see some of those like legends and just a different side of stories you don't see in like our movies. You know?
Mm-hmm. Totally.
It's almost bizarre to see like the way some of those stories are told in really completely different ways.
For sure.
But they're so delightful.
Yeah, because it's a culture that's been established for so long that like
Yeah.
they kind of,
Yeah.
go into it. It's interesting.
Yeah. I've also been watching the new Westworld season 2.
Nice. How's
been good.
that been?
It's been good.
Yeah?
Have you watched any of these?
No, I haven't seen the first season either.
Oh, what? Okay. You gotta watch the first season. First season's amazing. It really is.
Yeah, I've heard really good things.
It's amazing.
There was something going on when it was on, and I like missed a few, and then I was too behind, and then I just never dived in.
Well, there's not that many, so you can easily catch up. I think it's really worth catching up to this point right now. But yeah, I guess I can't really say too much because you haven't seen it, but the first episode was really well done. The second episode was more of a explanation type episode, sort of setting things up. And Game of Thrones has those kinds of things too. Like they have episodes where it's sort of like, oh, that was it, you know?
Yeah.
But Westworld almost has that same kind of pressure that Game of Thrones has, where every episode is like something big, or it's like something big happens, or everything's heightened. In Game of Thrones, everything's heightened in Westworld. And so if you like Game of Thrones, you'll probably like Westworld for that reason. But yeah, it's fantastic, and I love how they're kind of exploring themes that we've seen before with androids and artificial intelligence, but in really like a unique way that hasn't been done before. And it's very nonlinear as well. Like it's following many different timelines from different points of view at different points in the timeline. Like it's a little confusing too right now, because I'm not really sure what's going on. But like the first season, everything gets explained. First season starts out confusing, and then it blows your mind at the end. So I'm sure this season will do the same. So yeah,
Hell yeah.
That's Westworld. Really worth checking out.
Nice.
Great blend of Western film with science fiction. Really cool.
Yeah, it's a nice blend, you know.
It's a good blend.
Sounds like a premium blend there.
Yeah.
It's,
What else you got on your list?
let me see. I can't even remember. At the festival I was at, I watched a movie called American Animals.
How's
you heard
that?
about this?
No, I haven't at all.
It's good. It's the director of The Imposter. Did you see that? The documentary?
No, I've heard of it though.
Okay. You should check that out. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's his new movie, and it's kind of playing on a similar thing to like what Wormwood did, where there's like people cast, and it's only this is majority, I would say, a movie, like a narrative, and then they intersperse interviews with the actual people. It's about like 4 kids in college that plan to steal these like rare books from the library and like plan a heist.
Yeah.
And they like love heist movies, and they like plan a heist to steal these books and like sell them for millions of dollars, you know. But they're a bunch of kids.
Oh yeah,
So,
I definitely have heard of that before.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's really super watchable and like really fun.
Yeah.
I definitely enjoyed it. I do think some of the documentary elements, while they were interesting, like I kind of wish it kept up with them more. It kind of seems like at a certain point in the movie, it kind of drops out for a bit and then comes back around. And I think it was kind of like in the middle for me. Like I kind of wish they played on it more or less.
Yeah.
Especially because Wormwood just did it and like did it so incredibly well. But they're not like necessarily the same thing. But it's it was really, really enjoyable. I'm glad I saw it. It's a lot of fun, and I feel like it'll be like a pretty big hit. It's got the kid from Killing of a Sacred Deer in it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's the main guy.
The one that's also in Dunkirk.
And then I forget who the other guy in it was recognizable as well. I think he's in X-Men. I was trying to figure out what the other guy was in. Oh, he's who's the fast guy in X-Men? Or the guy who can stop. He can't stop time.
Well,
he's just really fast,
super
right?
fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not Quicksilver. That's Avengers.
No, isn't it Quicksilver?
Oh yeah, it's the
No.
same guy. No, it is because
Yeah.
no, it's Quicksilver.
Yeah. The guy who plays Quicksilver is also in the movie and is really good.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
It's a solid flick. I would recommend checking it out when it comes out. It's just really, really entertaining.
Nice, man. Well, I got one more on my list. It's another HBO show. Been watching Silicon Valley.
Oh hell yeah, I have
Yeah.
as well.
Oh, nice.
I'm like one or two behind, but I've
Okay.
been really enjoying it thus far.
Yeah, you know what? My overall thoughts on the show is I hope they kind of wrap it up soon. You know?
Yeah.
It's sort of just
Mhm.
kind of running out of steam.
It's a weird thing that like it almost seems like each season has enough material to be like 5 seasons. Like sometimes there's like
Right.
a issue raises, and I'm always like, oh, this is like what this season's all about. But they're very episodic, and usually like a huge problem will come up, and then like gets wrapped up within the course of the 30-minute episode.
Yeah.
So then it's kind of just like, okay, like here's another, you know. Structurally, it does get kind of repetitive because it's like, okay, when are these guys just gonna like actually fucking make it? You know, like
Yeah. It's more of like it's really a sitcom because there's really
Yeah.
no arc for anyone. They're always the same. They always find themselves in the same situations, and they there's no like driving narrative
yeah.
other than them like trying to make this company work, you know?
That being said, though, the jokes are still super funny. Like, it's, I still think it's really funny.
Oh yeah, I sound down on it. I'm actually not at all. I find it hilarious.
Yeah, it's great.
I find it actually. I laugh. I love the show, and I think my favorite character has to be Jared.
Yeah, Jared's definitely
Jared's
mine as well.
amazing.
He's an amazing character.
Good.
So well written. Just like the
So
little
good.
things that he sprinkles throughout that like like give you like clues in on this like weird past that he had like on the street and all this weird stuff.
Horribly sad past that he had.
He had some line in a recent one that was like, "Look, no one understands what having to like kill a member of your family is like it more than me." And it's just like, what? It's like an insane thing to say.
Since you're a couple behind, there's a few like really good moments like that in the next two episodes.
Nice.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
There's some great moments. He's the best. But yeah.
Yeah, he's hysterical.
He's hysterical. The show's great. Still funny. Mm-hmm. But I think they already announced one more season. So
okay.
I don't know if it's the last one, but I think it'd be good to.
Because this is a good 5, time. Right?
This is the 5th one. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's getting around there.
Yeah. So if they ended it after the 6th season, I wouldn't be mad. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm enjoying where it's going, and yes, last Sunday's episode was pretty funny and pretty good. So
nice. Yeah,
that's it for me. That's what I've been watching.
Yeah, I didn't really watch much else. I watched another movie called The Wind of Youth Group Crosses the Mountain Pass. That was really weird, but good. Is a Seijun Suzuki movie. I got like a box set of like some of his earlier stuff, and I was thinking that it was about them crossing a mountain pass, but it's really just about a student traveler that gets picked up by a traveling group of magicians, and he just helps the magicians like train to get like a residency at a theater. It's like weird 60s Japanese movie about magicians that was pretty enjoyable. I enjoyed it, but not much else to say.
It sounds pretty amazing.
Yeah, I was like blown away at the concept because I didn't read about it or anything. I just kind of popped it in and watched it, and it was like, wow, definitely going in a direction that I was not expecting, but I'm very into.
Yeah, I did a lot of rewatches just to get ready for Avengers, to get pumped. Mm-hmm. So I rewatched like Iron Man, rewatched both the other Avengers movies, a couple other ones, which are always fun.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen Iron Man in a really long time.
The first one?
Yeah, the first one. Mm-hmm. The first movie of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Mm-hmm. And it's still one of the best ones, dude. It's great.
Yeah? I remember his like big suit that he builds being pretty cool and like.
Yeah.
Jeff Bridges is the villain in it, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's a pretty good movie, dude.
Pre-Cheadle as well. It was the pre-Cheadle era.
Yeah. Terrence Howard.
Yeah. Do you think he's happy or upset that he backed out? He's like, nah, I don't want to do all these movies, and then they were like literally the biggest movies around. He's like, fuck! Like, shit!
Do you think did he actually back out, or was he just like replaced?
No, I think he decided not to do it. Oh. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. And maybe he didn't want to do it because he didn't want to fucking do it and doesn't care now and is glad he didn't. But part of me is like, yeah. Like, does Terrence Howard regret not making millions and millions and millions?
Yeah. Honestly, I like Don Cheadle better, so.
Yeah, Don Cheadle's good. He's a good actor.
Yeah.
But it's kind of underutilized in the movies. Like, he's such an amazing actor to just be like...
Yeah, he's a minor...
All right, I'm like a cool sidekick who has also a cool suit. Like,
yeah, he's a minor character.
Yeah.
But he has his moments. Like in Age of Ultron, he has like the whole... He tries to tell like a funny story and doesn't land with his friends, but then he tells like a group of strangers and it just like kills.
Uh-huh. Oh, I think I remember that.
And he's like really happy that his story like made people laugh. Uh-huh. It's just good shit like that.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get into our non-spoiler section for Avengers Infinity War, and after this, we'll do spoilers. All right.
Cool.
There was an idea to bring together a group of remarkable people. To see if we could become something more. So when they needed us, we could fight the battles
that they never could.
In time, you will know what it's like to lose. To feel so desperately that you're right, yet to fail all the same. Dread it. Run from it. Destiny still arrives.
Evacuate the city. Engage all defenses. And get this man a shield.
It's pronounced Avengers, Wes.
Avengers. This is the new film from Marvel Studios. The Avengers and their allies must be willing to sacrifice all in an attempt to defeat the powerful Thanos before his blitz of devastation and ruin puts an end to the universe. This stars a bunch of people I'm not going to name right now because there's too many.
Fucking million people in this movie.
Yeah, but it's directed by Anthony Russo and Joe Russo. This is killing it at the box office right now. It's breaking crazy records. It's beaten Star Wars now for the biggest opening weekend. Yeah. And it's has a runtime of 2 hours and 29 minutes.
Very sturdy runtime.
Yeah. What'd you think of the movie? Or what are your thoughts on it?
I thought it was all right. I didn't necessarily love it, but then again, it's not a movie for me necessarily. Like, I know this movie wasn't made for me since I'm not as up on the knowledge of like the properties and stuff. So, but I do think it was definitely better than the last Avengers movie, like for show.
Okay.
It was
meaning
entertaining.
Age of Ultron?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say probably on par with the first one, but better than Age of Ultron.
All right.
I thought visually it was a lot better than the previous two. The first Avengers, I feel like, looks like really like bland to me. But
well, it's got that Russo touch, man. Which we've talked before with Civil War and Winter Soldier, which are the two other movies they directed.
Mm-hmm.
They have a look, and it's more like cinematic.
Definitely. I think it also helps that this one takes... Is it a spoiler that I say a bunch of it is in space?
No, that's not a spoiler.
Yeah. A lot of it takes place in space, which I think lends itself visually, especially when a lot of the times these movies are already kind of all green screened. You know what I mean? That, like, it being in a fake environment is almost better than an imitation of a real environment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, honestly, my main thing is just, like, there was just, like, so much going on, I can, like, barely remember even, like, what happened in it. You know what I mean? And it almost seems like, I kind of, it was very long, but I almost wish it was longer in order to like, be able to, like, fit more in. Or, like, if the next, which I know it won't be, but, like, if the next phase of the movies were just, like, all the storylines. You know what I mean? It's like, if the movies were, like, the last Thor movie was Thor's storyline in this movie. You know what I mean? And then they all kind of converge for whatever will be the next one. Yeah. Does that make sense? It just seemed like there was, like, so much going on that it almost like did it a disservice because certain elements they needed to like ease in and introduce, like the Guardians, they definitely needed to kind of like work in. Mm-hmm. But then other characters, they're just like Black Panther, they're just like, all right, I know where to go, and they show up and he's like, hey. Yeah. You know, all right, cool, you're in the movie now, let's go. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, this movie is very much dependent on, I mean, it really relies on everything that's come before it. If you were to watch this movie without ever seeing any of them, you'd be like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, like, what the hell is this? Like,
yeah. And so this is sort of like, it's like in comic books where there's just like this big, giant crossover comic. And it's not necessarily like this groundbreaking, crazy story that you come back to over and over again. It's sort of just like this big, crazy event where you see all your characters from their different timelines put together into one crossover event where they all meet. And then the stories continue. But a lot of those, too, have something big that happens within them. We'll get to that later in spoilers. But overall, for my thoughts, I liked the movie. I didn't think it was, like, great. But it's almost like this monumental task that they're giving her, you know? It's
I don't envy them. Like, this would have been a very hard movie to make.
Seriously. And I think with what they were given, they do a pretty good job with what they are given. And you're given so many different characters, and I think it does a good job of kind of paying service, at least a nod to each person's story, to where if you've been watching the other movies, you get it, you know, it's enough.
Yeah.
But that's almost to its discredit, too, because I feel like it's really missing some of those nice moments that I liked in Age of Ultron, where there's just, like, them hanging out. Them just, like, being together and just more witty banter between them and just talking and just being themselves, you know? You almost... There's so much they have to cram into this movie that they just don't have time for that. There's just no time.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's just like an unfortunate reality of making a movie like this, you know?
Yeah, you're kind of a slave to, like, dipping your toe equally in all the pools, you know? Which...
Time is a great resource.
It's weird because it's kind of the whole point of the movie, but also it's kind of doing a disservice to it as its own movie. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's kind of a weird balance. Like, it's definitely hard to strike that nice balance, I would imagine.
I thought Thanos was a great villain as well.
He was good. I thought he looked really weird, though.
Did you? I thought he looked pretty realistic for some of those close-up shots. Like, they're like little hairs on his head and his face.
The textures were really nice, but he felt very, like, light. Like, there was, like, no weight.
Yeah.
You know? And I also, maybe this is just because I haven't, like, read the comics or whatnot.
Yeah.
I don't get why you would just, like, throw away that super cool armor that he's wearing. Like, why isn't he just wearing that the whole time? He's just, like, he's in, like, a weird vest with, like, no hat on. It just, like, looks weird. Like, the top of his head is, like, so tiny, and then his jaw is gigantic. It's like, maybe pop that helmet on. That, like, gold-plated, amazing armor that he had. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, to begin with, this is completely different than the comic.
Yeah.
Completely different. I haven't read all of it, but I've read some of the Infinity Gauntlet comic.
Yeah.
And there's like 6 issues. I've read like the first couple. And he has, at least in those, his armor is on most of the time.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they chose to shed that. Maybe to make him more human, maybe more like
or like
soft,
he's so powerful he doesn't need it. Also,
could be a thing. That too, maybe.
But just visually, it seems like such a missed opportunity. Because like when he's in the first Guardians, he's on that throne in the amazing gold armor, and it's like this guy looks like a villain,
right?
And then now he kind of just looks like a buff purple guy in a vest. You know what I mean? It's kind of weird,
like this buff purple alien guy.
Yeah,
but at the same time, I feel like there are moments in the movie that made him... I like how they play on his size. Like, he does feel like this gigantic person.
Yeah, for sure.
I do get what you mean, though, about the weight, but that's just... that's the CG. But,
yeah, it's just like a CG thing.
Yeah.
It's
But I
just
do like how
hard
they
when-
play with this size, though. I like that.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
It's hard when you've seen things recently. Like, granted, a lot of these like are actual things that would exist, not like a fantastical thing that you know is fake.
Yeah.
But like the CG in War of the Planet of the Apes is just like unbelievable.
It is.
You know what I mean?
Unbelievable.
So when you see something, a character that's a similar thing, it's like all CG created, and when they just like walk, it like looks weird. You know what I mean? I felt like that was the biggest time, like when he was in close-ups and just move, like when he was in close-ups, it looked nice, but anytime there was a wide, he just kind of looked like he was like floating a little bit. You know what I mean? A little unnatural.
No, I get you. That's for sure. Yeah, I think that's just a side effect of the CG.
For sure.
It is weird though. It does still kind of look like Josh Brolin though.
Oh yeah, there's a little Brolin in there.
Yeah, pretty good casting I think for that.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, overall I thought it was, it's really entertaining. It you get to see some of your favorite characters have some moments, but I think the Guardians of the Galaxy really have a major part in this movie.
I thought they were the best part.
They are the
movie.
best part.
Yeah.
And
they're also my favorite of the series,
Yeah.
so I would...
No, I think
I'm a
they
little
steal the
biased.
show. I think they steal the show. I think Thor does as well.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the other characters kind of take a backseat. Although they're there, they don't have like a crazy huge role like before.
Yeah.
Sort of like Captain America.
I would say that the only one that I thought was like bad was Hulk. I thought Hulk was not good in it.
Well, that was pretty disappointing. Let's not spoil what happens there, but
Yeah, but just
Hulk was
his
a little
performance too. Like Mark
like,
Ruffalo was
you mean
like,
Mark Ruffalo's
weird.
performance?
Yeah, it was like
He's like-
his storyline as well, but his performance, like I don't like. I get that maybe this is in service to the character and like how the character was initially portrayed, but him talking to Hulk, being like, Hulk, you gotta help me out here. It's just like, okay, I do not need this at all. You know what I mean? Like, I really do not need that. Like,
Well, even Mark Ruffalo playing Bruce Banner, just being that character, he's sort of become like the comic relief now, which is weird.
yeah, I don't really
It's weird
like
that
it.
Bruce Banner is the comic relief. I
Yeah.
don't know if I really like that.
It just seems like they have nothing for him to do, and also that the Hulk is like too powerful to the point where he would just kill everyone. So they need to like make excuses for him to not be it. You know what I mean? And also whenever he was in the robot suit and the mask came off, it was the goofiest looking shit ever. Like, he's just in this giant suit with a wee tiny head, like floating around. So like,
Yeah.
it's very goofy.
I thought Doctor Strange was pretty cool.
Yeah, I like his powers and
fine.
stuff, but I don't know, something I just like can't get into his character in them. I kind of felt the same way in his solo movie, but more so in this one. Like it felt I don't know, like maybe it's I don't know, something about it didn't sit right with me. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I like his the stuff that he does where he like makes the portals and they're like fighting and jumping through the portals and stuff. Like that stuff's really cool. But
I thought we needed more Spider-Man.
yeah,
More Spider-Man because he was great.
yeah, he was good. I enjoyed Spider-Man in it. I did not enjoy the suit. Just made me think of it. That new Iron Man suit. Not into it. How did you feel?
Yeah,
about that?
the nanotechnology.
It's lame. It's like
Yeah.
his suit already just comes out of him, doesn't it?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, it's like, why does it need to be nanobots? It's just like some weird sleek version. It's like, it already fucking does that shit. Like, why do they need to make it more, you know? It's like too weirdly sleek and...
Every character had to have some kind of crazy upgrade or some kind of change, and that was his, you know?
Mm-hmm. It seems like just switch up like the colors of his suit or something. Because I like that that it looks like pieces of metal. You know what I mean?
He's Iron Man.
Yeah, it's like he should be in an iron suit. It just it is kind of weird. And then like Captain America has a beard and his cool like black leather.
I mean,
like, all right.
he's my favorite, so
Yeah.
I could use more of him.
Dude, what did you think? This is the big question on the tip of everyone's tongues. What did you think about Vulture in this movie? Everyone's fucking clamoring for Anthony. It's Vulture, right? Anthony Mackie. What's his name?
Falcon.
Falcon. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, Falcon.
What did you think of Falcon, dude?
Why? What do you mean?
It's just like he's the most like non-character in all these movies. He just like
Yeah.
shows up. He's like, "I'm here to help," and then it's just like does stuff, and then it's like, "Cool, glad I helped." It's just like such a non-character. Like even some of the other minor ones, like have something or something going
Winter
on.
Soldier had like nothing to do.
Yeah.
Even Black Widow like had nothing to do.
Yeah, but they've had things to do in other movies, and I feel like Vulture has not. Or I keep calling Vulture Falcon.
Falcon.
Yeah. Winged Anthony Mackie. That's what I'm going to call him from now on.
Yeah, they definitely had to. I mean, you had to pick and choose who was going to take the forefront in this one. It made sense with what they did choose.
Mm.
You have the more. I mean, those people were. Well, I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah.
But I just want to say that they picked and choose, I think, wisely where the story went, who would be at the forefront for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
What other non-spoiler things can we talk about?
I'll say that I liked that for the first time in, I would say, the Avengers movies, but I think there was more of this in Black Panther than the other ones, but there was a definitive theme, which I liked. It's like, okay, here's the theme. Wow. Finally. You know what I mean? Finally, a fucking blockbuster has a goddamn theme. Like,
right.
I feel like it's been so just kind of like percussive, sort of just rum dum 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 dum, you know,
Just
and everything.
Epic, driving.
All Hansi Zimmy, you know, which nothing wrong with Hans, but I feel like there's a lot of
not
Hans.
everything has to be Hans.
Yeah, there's a lot of Hans aping going on. You know what I mean? People cheating the Hans, and it's kind of like ruined sort of like melodies that you can associate. You know what I mean? Which I'll say I can't like hum it now. But when it came up, it was like, oh, there's a theme. You know what I mean? Which was cool. So I like that.
Yeah, that was good. I'm trying to... Oh, here we go. I'm trying to look up who did the score. I forget who it is. Someone big.
It was Alan Silvestri?
Alan Silvestri.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Mm.
He's a pretty good composer.
Yeah.
He's a good pick. Yeah. But you know, at the same time, you have this movie, and it definitely felt like a part one. And it's not a spoiler at all, because we know that there is a movie next year. It's the untitled Avengers sequel.
Oh, does it come out next year?
Comes out next year.
Oh wow! I thought they were like starting it now. So that's interesting.
No, it's actually been shot already.
Yeah, crazy.
For the most part. So what's going to happen from here is we have this movie. This was a big event type film. It's going to change the way the universe is right now.
Yeah. And
we have Ant-Man and the Wasp next, and we have Captain Marvel in early next year, and then right after that we have probably the last Avengers as we know it of these. I think of this plot line. So then what happens, though, is like... Are they going to continue just not with the major characters? Like, is Captain Marvel, like, the new thing? Or is it just wiping the slate clean, fuck all that shit, we're starting new? Well, I don't know this. No one really knows this, but this is my theory. So, obviously, there's no spoilers here because no one knows. But a lot of the main characters, like Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, their contracts end with the next Avengers movie. So I sort of think like it's all going to wrap up nicely. The universe is going to be reset, and the new generation's going to continue whatever stories. So that'll be Captain America, Black Panther, Ant-Man, all the most recent movies. Spider-Man. Yeah. All those guys are going to continue, and the main guys are at least going to take a backseat or just disappear for a while. Yeah. You know,
Makes sense.
They got it. They're good for them for like trying to wrap it up at some point, and then they're gonna
because
set
they
it
could
up
just keep fucking juicing this shit forever.
Yeah, well, and
Which
they
they
are.
will, but
they're
just
gonna
not
keep making Marvel.
Yeah,
movies.
they'll at least attempt to make it fresh.
But this is at least wrapping up this 10-year long journey that they've started. You know, which is insane. That's lasted this long.
It's pretty crazy.
It's something that's never happened in the history of cinema, ever.
At least at that volume and pace. Like
exactly.
2-3 movies a year for 10 years, right?
And, you know, then combining and having one shared universe, one story.
Yeah, because what count is this? What number movie in the universe?
I believe this is either 18 or 19.
Damn, that's crazy. Pretty wild.
It's a lot of movies.
Yeah.
A lot of movies in a shared cinematic universe where one thing affects the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. That's a lot of continuity.
Definitely.
And these next two ones before the next Avengers aren't even taking place after this one. They're switching up a little bit. So Ant-Man takes place before this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And Captain Marvel takes place way before. It takes place in the 90s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Crazy. Do you think it'll still have... Like, will it still have a bearing on the next Avengers? Or do you think it'll just be like, sidebar, okay, now back to it? You know what I mean?
I think at least Captain Marvel will have a big part in the next one.
Kind of seems like it would have to justify it.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Absolutely.
just release the next one. You know, like...
Yeah. Exactly. And same for Ant-Man. They're going to have some kind of part in the next one.
Yeah.
For sure.
Suspiciously absent.
Yeah.
Interesting.
We'll see.
Maybe there was a cameo that we just missed. He was there the whole fucking time. That would have actually been an amazing post-credit sequence if it just zoomed in on, like, one of the characters' shoulders and Ant-Man's like, I've been here the whole goddamn time. I've done shit.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know if this is a spoiler, but just in case, I just don't want anyone to be upset, but I'm going to say one thing about the characters that don't appear.
Mm-hmm.
And so skip ahead if you don't want to hear this, but obviously Ant-Man and Wasp aren't in the movie.
Yeah.
And Hawkeye, nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, what's up with that?
They have one line in the movie I was able to catch. It's sort of like, he's retired and Ant-Man's not here. Like they have a one-liner like explaining that, so it's like, oh, okay. But don't know where Ant-Man and Wasp are.
Did they establish Hawkeye? Because there was the whole thing with like his wife in that like ranch, right, in the last Avengers.
Yeah.
Did they establish that he was staying there, or was it like, what was that?
They've been saying ever since then, he's going to retire. In Civil War, he was retired, and then he came out of retirement just to kind of be like, let's settle this, you know.
Yeah.
And now I guess he's fully retired, but I feel like he's going to make his last appearance in the next one.
Yeah, I think Jeremy Renner is just being a diva and didn't want to be in this one. But
I don't know if it's that.
He'll
I don't
see
think
it.
They could
No, I
afford
know.
him.
I'm just kidding.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so I was almost like disappointed because I was like, this is going to be everyone. And it wasn't everyone, but it was 98% of everyone.
Mm-hmm. Seriously.
You know, even a lot of the side characters that are in some of the other movies.
Yeah.
Which makes sense in a world that's shared, you know, they would still be there, you know?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Where's the Carl Urban from Thor? Or did he die in Thor? Can't remember.
Did he sacrifice himself? I don't remember.
Maybe. Can't remember. I was very sleepy at the end of Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, you got to rewatch it. It's worth rewatching. It's pretty good. But that reminds me, you say that you don't know enough about this material, but you do. I mean, you've followed all these movies. We've talked about all of them on here.
Yeah, pretty.
So you
I
know
still
at
haven't
least
seen
enough of the movies.
Yeah, I still haven't seen some of them, But
which ones haven't you seen?
I haven't seen the second Thor movie. And I've only seen half of the first Thor movie.
You don't really need to see those.
Yeah, I've heard they're not very good.
They're not.
And
Thor 3 is the best. Ragnarok's the best one.
Mm-hmm. I don't really remember much from Age of Ultron either, because I watched that in preparation for Civil War when we reviewed that one.
I gotta tell you, I've rewatched it, and I think I like it more than Infinity War. And I don't
Really?
think I think it's honestly pretty underrated. It has some great moments. If you rewatch that movie, it has some great character moments. The first battle, like it's very much like a here's all the exposition, blah 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 blah. Here's what's going on, and it does it in this movie too. But the first like quarter of that movie is just like, oh god. But once it settles down, and it sort of like has a rhythm, it's pretty good. Because you feel like these characters like actually hang out and they're friends and they're a team. You don't have that moment at all in Infinity.
Yeah, there's too much going on.
It's like quick moments of exposition and then non-stop action.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really remember that much about it. I definitely remember the scene where like they trade Black Widow like she's property though. I definitely remember that. But isn't it like Captain America and the Hulk, they're at like that party and he like gives him permission, like, yeah, you can date Black Widow. He's like, cool, I will. And then they're just like together. It's like a weird thing. Like,
sort of. Well, Captain America is like, he noticed that she's flirting with him and he's like, listen, just go for it. If you're into it, just go for it, you know.
I gotcha.
I don't know. I'd say worth checking out again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just out of mere curiosity of how does this one compare to the other one?
Mm-hmm.
You know. But anyway, I think this to wrap up non-spoilers, I think this one, aside from some of the problems that I have with it, it was still pretty entertaining. And I'm a big Marvel guy, and movie critique aside, I was definitely shaken in my seat of just how excited I was, how like geeked out I was, because this was like very cool for me. But as a movie, it definitely has its flaws, and I felt like it was a lot crammed in to the point of it didn't feel like 2.5 hours to me. I felt like it was going on too long at near the end, but I wanted to go longer because I wanted it to be like kind of spread out a little bit.
Yeah,
it was happening so fast.
Totally, everything was happening very fast.
But I did like how they took Thanos and sort of made him the main character, like the main focus.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty smart for a movie like this.
Yeah, because in a movie where everyone is the main character of their other movie, you kind of need to focus on the one that isn't. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like everyone's a protagonist, so what's the point in making one of them the protagonist?
Exactly. And another thing I really enjoyed too was I thought the use of the gauntlet was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And just the combined forces of like the superheroes, the Avengers, like using their powers, their abilities together to fight one person was pretty awesome.
Totally. And I thought that was best reflected when they're actually fighting Thanos. It seemed like for the rest of it, because that, I feel like maybe I'm wrong because I don't remember it very well, but I felt like that's what was missing to me in the second one. In the first one, there's like that very definitive scene where they all come together at the end, and it's like, look, he's doing that. It's zooming all over the place, and you know what I mean? And I felt like that was kind of missing from the second one, and missing to an extent to a certain point in this one, but that's mainly because they weren't together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then by the end, when they get all together, like the scenes of them fighting Thanos, like I was saying, with like the portals and like shooting the spider webs and like stuff like that. It's like
combined powers.
Yeah, it's fun. You know what I mean? Like that's what should be in this movie. You know what I mean? Like that's what it should be.
For sure. And you at least have some good moments of that.
Yeah, definitely.
So that was nice. I really was enjoying that. I was like, this is cool. But yeah. Ready? You want to move on to spoilers?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Real quick before we get into spoilers, let's talk about that special deal we have from our sponsor, Zach.
Oh, what's that special deal?
Well, for the listeners of the Listen to Us Rant About Movies podcast, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out this great service. You can download your free audiobook today. Go to audibletrial.com/LTURAM. Again, that's audibletrial.com/LTURAM for your free audiobook. There's a lot of great books on there, and especially if you like comic books, they have similar fictional stories on there that you can listen to. It'd be great. All right, so let's get into our spoiler review of Avengers Infinity War.
The entire time I knew him, he only ever had one goal. To wipe out half the universe. If he gets all the Infinity Stones, he can do it with the snap of his fingers. Just like that.
Tell me his name again.
Thanos.
We got one advantage. He's coming to us. We have what Thanos wants, so that's what we use.
Let's talk about this plan of yours. I think it's good, except it sucks. So let me do the plan, and that way it might be really good.
Wow.
The end is near. When I'm done, half of humanity will still exist. Perfectly balanced. As all things should be. I hope they remember you.
I'm Peter, by the way.
Doctor Strange.
Oh, you're using your made-up names. Then I am Spider-Man.
Let's talk about that ending, man.
Yeah, I feel like for me it wasn't as effective because maybe I'm wrong, but I just feel like it's all gonna be undone and none of them are dead.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing, right? Is like we know there's going to be no real stakes in this because we know there's another Avengers movie. But even if these people that they die at the end, all these characters die at the end, even if that really stuck, some of those characters that died have a movie next year. Spider-Man has Spider-Man 2 in 2019.
Mm.
Well, we know he's not dead, you know?
Yeah.
It's just like a lot of those people are going to come back.
And like even if they weren't, it's like it kind of sucks. Like Black Panther just came out and then they kill him in this movie and then he's just dead. It's like, what? You know what I mean? Like that's kind of fucking lame. Like
but this is like it's a big event that's going to change the cinematic universe for the other movies until the next one when you have the gauntlet, you reset it. We know that you can reset time and everything like that. So.
Yeah. It just felt a little like they were, like I've heard, like, oh, so bold. And like you could tell with the way that they framed the ending that they like were going for bold, but it kind of isn't. You know what I mean? It's like
kind of a flaw of knowing like the outcome of like the next movies that are coming.
Yeah, and it's like
imagine not knowing that at all. I'd be like, whoa, these people really just all got wiped out.
Yeah, but I feel like I still wouldn't believe it. Because, like...
Yeah.
I don't know.
But it's sort of like an inevitable thing that happens in comic books, too. I mean...
Yeah, no, exactly. It comes with the territory.
Yeah, like, characters die all the time, and then they come back. That's just how it is.
Yeah, it just... But the other deaths in the movie definitely felt permanent.
There were some that did. Like, Gamora
Which maybe
felt
they
pretty
won't
permanent.
be. But who?
Gamora.
Yeah.
From Guardians.
Yeah, totally.
Like, that felt like a real death.
Yeah. And, like, those moments were effective. But it just seems like after having these effective deaths, then to just be like, fuck it, they're all dead! You know what I mean? It was kind of like... Yeah, it just... even without knowing that more is coming, it just was like, well, they're not. It's, like, easy to write it off, which makes it, like, a little less effective for me, you know?
It's sort of... It is less effective for me as well, but for some reason, I guess I'm okay with it. You know, I feel like you gotta, like... It's part of the story. Like, I think of it as two parts. This is part 1. Part 2 is next year. For part 1, it is kind of a downer movie because you got to break down the Avengers. You got to break down the heroes to nothing, right? And then build them back up for the last conclusion. And it makes sense at a story standpoint. But also, it's like, yeah, outside of the story, me as a viewer and fan of these movies, I know that it's not permanent.
Yeah.
At least not all of them.
Yeah, I think it would have maybe been a little more bold if maybe some of them had actually died in the battle. If, like, the Winter Soldier or something just gets fucking murdered in the middle of the battle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's that one moment with Iron Man where I thought he was dead, dude. I was like, this is it. They're killing Tony Stark right now.
Yeah.
Because he gets stabbed.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a moment where they make you think, like, he's going to die. And in my head, I was watching that. I was like, I actually got a little emotional because I was like, oh, man. Like, he's been with this story the longest. But also it makes sense. His story's going to end eventually.
Yeah.
Like, he's been the longest. His contract's going to end.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know. I thought they were going to really end it there, but they didn't.
Yeah, they didn't. Which, yeah, it just kind of seems like that coming before, too, where you think it's going to happen and then they don't do it, but then they do this other thing. It's just, like, it's very dodgy. You know what I mean? But it's like trying to earn it at the same time as dodging it. So it's kind of weird. But I will say that was effective when he was dying, when you thought he was going to die or whatever.
Yeah.
But
that was emotional.
Who all's left?
Who's left? Let's
Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk.
Captain America, Hulk.
Doctor Strange?
Nope, no Doctor Strange. Thor is still there. No Guardians are left. Winter Soldier's not there. Scarlet Witch is not there. It's really not a lot left. Even Spider-Man, like, it actually was sad when he left too. Mm-hmm. Like he was like, I don't want to die. I was like, that's a good emotional beat right there. I approve of that one. But yeah, I guess it's really just the main ones: Captain America, Thor, Black Widow, Iron Man, and a couple of the minor ones. So there's really not a lot left. It literally wiped out half of them. Did you stay after the credits?
I did, yeah. But I already can't remember what it was. Remind me?
Remember...
Nick Fury, right?
Yeah,
Nick Fury thing. Mm.
Where you start seeing everyone disappear in the city. He disappears. And do you get what he did at the end there? Where he used his beeper? He called Captain Marvel.
Oh,
that's what that symbol is. So it's just a nod. I didn't know what that was. It's just a nod to the next movie. Yeah. So, yeah, that's what that was. Captain Marvel.
I got you.
I'm actually pretty excited for that one. That'll be Brie Larson.
Yeah, it'll be cool. I like Brie Larson. She's awesome.
She's great. It'll be like a 90s movie.
Mm-hmm.
Be interesting. And supposedly they're bringing back Agent Phil Coulson. Remember him from the first Avengers?
Oh, yeah. Everyone's clamoring to
now.
have him back, man. Everyone wants it so bad.
But he'll be in this one.
Yeah.
It'll be the 90s, so he's not dead yet. So
Yeah.
It makes sense.
I just would love if he had a bunch of lines like, boy, I can't wait to just retire and just have a long, fruitful life with my family. You know what I mean? Just like hinting the whole time at his long, beautiful life.
That'd be hilarious, yeah. You know, I picture myself dying in my sleep at a very old age.
Yeah.
Like
someday, I wish I'll make it to 100. Just like,
nothing's gonna stop me now.
Yeah, be good.
Yeah. But yeah. What was I gonna say earlier about the characters? Oh, what I didn't want to spoil was the characters that are like at the forefront made sense because those were the ones in space, like Guardians of the Galaxy in space. Having Thor kind of do his thing. Thor was a badass, by the way.
Yeah, Thor was good in it.
He was a total badass. He's one of my favorite characters now.
Yeah.
With Thor Ragnarok and this.
Seems like they really turned it around because he was kind of boring before.
He was super boring. Now he's really funny and great.
The worst, though, I don't know how you felt about it, but I was not into this weird Peter Dinklage giant dwarf planet thing. It was just like, just like, what the fuck is this? Like, what am I watching here? Like, I don't know. Like, it was weird.
I kind of liked seeing him in it and him playing like a giant.
Yeah. I didn't mind
like
him or him. I didn't mind him in it. It's just like the storyline of like, I was like, wait, what's going on? You know what I mean? Just like, huh?
They had to make that weapon, the God Killer.
No, I mean, I get it, but
Yeah.
it's just the movie's like so plot based. You know what I mean? It's kind of like what you were saying that you wish there was some more character stuff of them just like hanging out being.
Yeah, totally.
It's just like so like, okay. Like even the characters talking it out, like Rocket being like, I'll go with him and you guys stay here. And then we'll have two separate storylines, and then we'll converge later in the movie. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
He's like, okay, cool. Like, we have to go here and do A, and then you go there and do B, and then we meet up and do C. It's just very, plot.
Yeah. You know what? I feel like this would have really helped this movie. Because you don't have all the characters... You don't have all the characters in one place.
Yeah.
And in all the other Avengers movies, you have at least that happen once. They're the Avengers. They're all together at one point. But you don't have that in this. It should have started with them, like, hanging out at Avengers headquarters. Instead of them all being separate places. I get that Thor and Guardians of the Galaxy were in space. I would even forgive them not being there. But it's sort of like, have them arrive there, or have them just converge and be together in the very beginning.
Yeah.
Because we never have that. And then break them apart and continue the movie. But they're sort of like all over the place at the very beginning, and then they never get together. You just have like three separate groups, mini groups of Avengers. I feel like if we had just had that one moment where they start out, everything's hunky-dory in the beginning, and then shit goes crazy, spaceships start arriving, then you continue, Yeah. I don't know, I just feel like it needed that. It's an Avengers movie. There's not one moment like that. It's sort of, it shouldn't even be called Avengers, honestly. It should be called just Marvel Studios Infinity War.
Yeah. Civil War should have been an Avengers movie.
That really was more of an Avengers movie.
Yeah. Should have been like something different almost.
The only thing they did with that is they really just focused on Captain America a lot. That's sort of what made it his movie, but even then, it was really an Avengers movie.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
But this is sort of just like a segue moment. Of just like the overall universe arcing story.
Yeah, definitely. Everything converging and starting new paths.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I feel like I don't know much more... I feel like I can't, remember much more about it. It's just, such an assault so much shit happens, you know?
Definitely.
It's insane.
I've had a hard time trying to remember too, because it's just there's so much that happens. You almost like have to see it twice to really like understand everything that happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you liked it though, right?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was fun.
Did you have a good time watching
it?
Did you
Yeah.
have, like, fun?
Yeah, totally. And I thought I liked the Guardians a lot. I thought they were good in it. And I just wish... I guess I could either be... It just needed more, like, second quarter area. You know what I mean? Like, they tee it off and it's good, and then it's getting into everyone's storylines. And I feel like the middle just kind of needed more in it. Like, maybe more character beats or less, like task-oriented storylines where it's just like, we are going to do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Definitely just has to hit all those plot points, and there's so many of them.
It's just so many plot points.
No room to breathe. There's just no room to breathe at all. Yeah.
It's because of that it feels long to me, but I think if it was 20 minutes longer and had more time to breathe, it would just be more enjoyable. Or maybe just cut out that weird giant dwarf planet.
Yeah.
I don't know, that was weird.
Had to have a plot line where he forges this weapon that ended up not having any effect in the end, really.
Yeah.
Because he just reversed time.
Yeah. Which also felt like such like a cheat thing. Even though I knew it was coming, it's just like, it's coming. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the thing with it's like a smaller version of the thing at the end where it's just like, well, I know they're not all dead. It's like he hits him in the chest. It's like, all right, well, this isn't going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's one thing I really didn't like in the movie, but after I watched it, and I was talking about it with Emily after, was she made me realize I actually ended up liking this point of when Doctor Strange just sort of hands off his Infinity Stone, the Time Stone.
Yeah.
Like, at the time when I was watching, I was like, well, that's kind of cheap, It's just like, okay, totally. He just hands it off. But she made me realize he did that on purpose because he saw all the outcomes, right? He saw millions of... I didn't realize that at the time, but yes. I think that
like he was like, well, this is the best way to actually go about this because...
He's like, there was only one way where we
win. If we do A, B, and C, then we can get the gauntlet in reverse time and save everyone, as opposed to them just all getting, like, murdered instead of dusted. You know what I mean?
He's like, he sort of sacrificed himself, knowing, like, that would be the outcome,
Yeah, totally.
Which is kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's nice. What happened to the other guy, the other Doctor Strange guy? He just, like, left. He's like, well, I helped you guys out. Now I guess I'm just gonna leave. So see ya.
Yeah, well, it's in the beginning. He's like, oh well, Doctor Strange left, and the Sanctum is not being protected anymore. So I'm gonna go over there. And so he just kind of goes there, and it's like, all right.
It's like, ooh, there's a job over here where I don't have to like go into space and have scary fights. Like I'll just hang out there.
Yeah, Wong. He just hangs out. One thing we didn't talk about at all was the like Thanos's like underlings, like his like 4 alien like followers.
Mm-hmm. They're all right.
They're all right. We didn't get enough to really about them.
Yeah, I feel like the look of them is pretty dated.
You think?
It felt very like early 2000 designy. But
especially the female demon lady.
Yeah, that's mainly the one
She looked very CG. Like
she looked like cover of like a Warcraft expansion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like I don't know, maybe update this a little bit. Like I know they're Thanos' underlings, but they don't just have to look like a generic like elf thing. Especially because there's like they felt like fantasy characters, and this does not feel like a fantasy movie. You know what I mean?
It technically is, but yeah.
It technically is, but it does not feel like it at all.
Yeah, for sure.
To me. You know what I mean? It's like everyone's in like weird leather and then like a purple giant guy, and it's like then there's just like this elf, this evil elf, and like a troll guy. It's like, because even the creatures felt more alien. You know what I mean? They felt less creature and more alien. So
I will defend the alien, well, the evil elf troll looking guy. That's actually an alien. One of the scrolls from the comics. That's a direct reference. I don't know who the demon girl was. Or like the guy without the nose, who was probably my favorite of the underlings. Just because
I would say
screen
so.
Time.
His design was also just kind of weird. I don't know. It felt like it just felt a little uninspired, but maybe they were sourced from something else, and I don't know. But
well, he definitely has underlings in the comic book, but it just in this movie you don't really get a sense of like, okay, they're just sort of, there's not enough time to explain their motivations or anything.
Yeah,
they're just more characters thrown in here where you're sort of just like, all right, there's just like these CG bad guys, kill those, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
So that was probably a big downside for me.
Yeah, they just felt a little out of place, like they were like in the wrong movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We just had too many characters to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's like the other characters that are close to Thanos are Gamora and
Nebula.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they just look like straight sci-fi characters. And so does he.
Yeah.
So then to have like a weird like I was saying, like cover of like a Warcraft expansion pack.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Just like, I don't know how this is like really fitting for me. You know what I mean? It just seems kind of out of left field.
Yeah, for sure. No, I get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the big battle, we didn't talk about that either. I thought that was pretty cool. There's some
it was cool to have like a field war thing. I thought it was weird though that it seemed like only like 6 people aside from key characters disappeared at the end.
Yeah.
Like it was like wouldn't like literally half of these people disappear? Or potentially even all of them. Like how does it decide who disappears and who doesn't? You know, it's just like a weird thing where it's like three shots of someone like, oh, you know what I mean? Just like disappearing, and it's like, seems like this would kind of halt faster, you know?
Yeah, I don't know.
Whatever, not a big deal.
Maybe this one to make it sadder. You know?
It was a cool fight though. It's like, it's cool to see something on that big of a scale, because I feel like the other movies, like granted they are fighting a bunch of generic looking aliens, but in the first Avengers and the second one, they're not fighting aliens, right? They're on like the weird robots. Ships. Yeah. But
they're fighting generic robots. Not
yeah. Those felt very like expected in a way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That even though this was also that, it was nice to have it's just on a bigger scale, you know what I mean? And you did get a sense of scale, because I feel like sometimes movies where, you know, it's basically like an animated sequence, you can kind of lose it in that, and you feel it, which is interesting, and definitely switches it up a bit. I also, though, I don't know, what do they have like an aversion to like people wearing their helmets? Like, I brought up the Thanos no helmet, and then it seems like Black Panther, anytime he's not fighting someone, it's just like, psh, turn it off. Like, everyone's just always turning off their masks.
Yeah. I guess maybe part of that is because, I mean, this doesn't have to do with Thanos, but some of those might be like, because they're big actors.
Yeah, and people just want to see their face.
Well, they're paying for their face.
Yeah.
They're paying for their face.
Yeah. Just seems kind of weird, though, right?
I mean, it is weird in the terms of the story. Like, even if you look at the Infinity War poster, you have literal superheroes in this movie, right?
Yeah.
None of them wearing a mask.
Yeah, it's just kind of like,
it's all
I don't know.
Face. Like Iron Man, it's because they're paying for Robbie Downey Jr., man, and same for Chris Evans, although he kind of shed his helmet.
Yeah, he just doesn't have it anymore, huh? Yeah, it's just kind of weird. Not necessarily like a big like complaint. It's just like, especially with Black Panther, he just like had
He's
it
gonna
on
have his on all the time. Come
very rarely. Like in the middle of the, maybe not, maybe I'm misremembering, but it seemed like in the middle of the fight he was like taking it off and then putting it back on.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know, maybe just keep that shit on, man. Like,
yeah, it's true.
but yeah, I don't know. I've been ranting about this. You have any thoughts on the fight, the big fight scene?
No, other than like I thought, yeah, it was cool to see like this big battle. I guess I wasn't really expecting a field battle like that, and I like that it was in Wakanda. Made sense to get it away from like regular normal cities and just to have it in like this more sci-fi fantasy type setting.
Definitely.
I kind of enjoyed that.
For sure.
And there's some good moments in the battle where you haven't seen these superheroes fight like a war before, like a literal like war, which is a like huge ass battle like that. It was cool to see.
Yeah, it was nice. Yeah, you kind of get a small sense of that in Black Panther.
Yeah,
But like very small.
and this is much more big scale.
Yeah, which is cool.
But this is what I want to talk about more too. Is about we said Hulk a little disappointing. There's shots in the trailer where Hulk's like running in that battle. And he's not the Hulk in that battle in the movie.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's like, come on, I want to see the Hulk.
Yeah, like why did they?
The Hulk?
I just don't get that. Instead of having, it's like, did they literally just go, well, we need some comedy in this scene. Let's just have Mark Ruffalo be upset that he can't be the Hulk.
Well, the Hulk can still be comedic. Hulk's probably more comedic.
Exactly. I don't know. That just felt really weird. I didn't like any of the stuff with the Hulk, really. It just felt really strange.
Well, the Hulk, I guess maybe their reasoning or their excuse for that is Hulk is in the beginning, right? And he fights Thanos, and Thanos just kicks Hulk's ass.
Yeah.
And so he's like, oh, I'm the Hulk. I don't know. They like made him wimpy. Like he's like, oh, I'm scared to come back out now and fight. It's like,
yeah,
that's dumb.
Yeah, it's not great. I just feel like they in general just like don't know what to do with that character. Like he's never gonna get his own movie, right?
I don't think so.
It just seems like weird.
Yeah, they're kind of out of ideas. Like, what do you do with him? Well, here's the thing: don't bring so much attention on him. Just have him be the Hulk.
Yeah,
you don't have to, like,
he's just the
put
Hulk.
So much attention on.
Just cut to him punching 10 people. There you go. He's over there being the Hulk. It's
maybe
like
they didn't want to pay for that on top of everything else.
Yeah, maybe.
Because he's all
like
low cap.
It's like almost already like so. I don't know. Whatever. It's weird though. I did think that was a little strange, and I did not know that there was actual footage in the trailer that was like that. So that's even weirder.
The last shot before the title card in the trailer, it's like a bunch of characters running towards the camera.
Oh, I remember that. Oh yeah.
And that shot's not in the movie at all.
Huh. Weird. Yeah, because when they charge for the battle, it's in a different location.
And Mark Ruffalo is in the Hulkbuster armor.
Yeah, very weird. Interesting.
Yeah. But, Guardians of the Galaxy stole the show. Spider-Man was awesome. Needed more of him. Thor was badass. Needed more Captain America. But his appearance was great. Like, my theater cheered. I don't know what yours did. Mm-hmm. When he appeared out of the shadows.
Yeah.
Steve Rogers.
It got a reaction.
Great. Yeah.
A lot of stuff was getting pretty heavy reactions when I saw it.
What was?
Just, I was saying, like, a lot of stuff was getting pretty heavy reactions. Like, people gasping and, like...
Yeah.
Freaking out.
How'd you see this movie? Did you see it in 3D or anything?
Nah, I just saw it in 2D.
I saw it in IMAX 2D.
Nice.
IMAX 2D. It was great. Big screen. The sound was great. But they're really pushing 3D for this one. There were only 2 showings of IMAX 2D.
Really?
The rest were just like countless 3D.
That's pretty crazy.
Showing. but I was able to get, because I bought my tickets super early, I was able to get great seats in the IMAX 2D sold out one. And yeah, it was a good crowd to be with, and I enjoyed seeing it in IMAX. I always do it for really big movies such as this. Worth paying the extra price for. Didn't care to see it in 3D at all. Don't really care to see it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not needed.
I think the only movie that I wish I had seen in 3D was Ready Player One. That I think it actually could have benefited from being in 3D. But like this, it's like, no, I don't
Not necessary. Yeah.
I don't need it.
Yeah, me neither. Agreed. All right, well, any last thoughts before we move on?
I feel like I had some a minute ago, but I forgot, so what are you going to do?
What would you rate it?
I'll give it a 3.
Yeah, I agree. I give it a 3. 3 stars.
Interesting, going 3.
Going 3. A little lower than you thought, right?
Yeah, a little lower.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I'm grading it as an overall film. I'm putting sort of my personal thoughts or my personal fandom aside. And as a film, it's just... It accomplishes a lot, but it also doesn't accomplish a lot either. And its greatest upside and greatest selling point is also its greatest downside. There's too many characters. There's too much going on. It's crammed in. You don't have any great character moments or beats, which are my favorite moments of any of these movies. I love when the characters can just be characters. But you do have some great action, and with those bullet points and all these characters, they're able to make it coherent and make it really entertaining. So yeah, I give it a 3, and I would say it's under Age of Ultron for me, just below it. But probably because I saw it recently and I sort of liked it a lot more recently.
Yeah.
But yeah, Infinity War, and I honestly can't wait to see it again though. Sort of, I probably will have a better understanding of things that happened in this, because there's just so much that happened.
I came home and was talking about it to my roommate, and I literally had forgotten. like within the drive home, just what happened there? I don't remember. Why were they there? Just so much plot. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot. Cool, man. Well, that'll wrap it up for our review of this episode. As always, you can find other episodes of this podcast on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, YouTube. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. If you enjoy the show, please consider leaving us a review on iTunes. Every rating brings us to more listeners. And you can email us at listentousrantaboutmovies@gmail.com. Thank you to our Patreon producer, Sean Pierce, and our other Patreon supporters. You too can be a producer and or supporter of this podcast by visiting our Patreon page and becoming a monthly patron for as little as $1. Visit www.patreon.com/LTURAM podcast. That's going to wrap it up. Zach, it's a good talk.
Yeah, man.
And glad we were able to get this one out there and discuss it. And I'm sure we'll get another one soon.
Definitely, man. Chatting.
Yeah. Take it easy, man.
Take it easy.